Right in the core of bustling Manhattan stood the prestigious Harmony Heights Conservatory, a private music academy where the tuition cost more than most people's mortgages. The hallways? They rang out with the echoes of masterful symphonies, played by child prodigies in designer outfits, carrying violin cases worth more than a small car. This wasn't just a school, it was an elite fortress of talent, a sanctuary where the children of CEOs, global diplomats, and celebrities honed their musical genius to near perfection. Beneath those glimmering chandeliers, past the polished marble floors, and beneath the watchful eyes of oil-painted alumni, walked a man barely noticed by anyone, Mr. Samuel Hayes, the janitor. In his early 60s, his posture slightly stooped, his dark hair laced with silver, Samuel moved through the halls quietly, with eyes that looked like they held 100 stories no one ever bothered to ask about. To the students, he was just Sam the Mop. A ghost in the background. Useful, but invisible. Necessary, yet forgettable. But Mr. Hayes? He carried a secret. Once, long ago, Samuel had been a rising star in the world of music, a gifted pianist with hands that danced over keys like water. He'd earned a scholarship to Juilliard, celebrated for his raw jazz instincts and breathtaking improvisation. Late nights, he'd poured his soul into pianos in smoky Harlem clubs, dreaming, just dreaming, of places like Carnegie Hall. But life had other plans. Cruel, fast, and unforgiving. A devastating car crash had taken away his beloved wife and left him holding the pieces, along with a newborn daughter. Samuel had let go of the dream. He gave up music, took up odd jobs, and slowly buried his gift beneath years of grief, overdue bills, and the exhausting rhythm of survival. Still, no matter how deep it was buried, that music, it never truly left him. Every time he passed a piano, something inside him stirred, something he tried hard to silence, but couldn't. One crisp winter morning, before anyone else had arrived, Samuel stepped into the school's magnificent recital hall, mop in hand. Sunlight streamed through towering windows, bathing the room in a golden glow. At the center of it all sat the conservatory's pride, a flawless, custom-made Fazioli grand piano, polished to perfection. It was more than just a piano. It was her piano. Savannah Whitmore's. Savannah, 17, stunning, brilliant, with hands that made Steinway reps weep and a father who practically owned half of Silicon Valley. She was Harmony Heights' star pupil and fiercely possessive of her Fazioli. Touching it? Unthinkable. But that morning, something in the silence, in the sun, in the shimmer of the keys, it pulled Samuel in. He walked over, slow, like reconnecting with an old, lost love. He sat down, barely breathing, and gently let his fingers graze the keys. Then he played. What came out wasn't from sheet music. It was raw. It was bluesy. It was jazz soaked in memory, pain, and beauty. It wasn't just sound, it was truth, shaped into melody. But the spell shattered. The doors burst open, and in walked Savannah with two of her usual friends, designer bags slung on their arms, coffee cups in hand. She froze. "Is he playing my piano?" she asked, her voice laced with ice. The others laughed. One voice sneered. "What is this? An audition for America's Got Talent." Samuel shot up, flustered. "I am sorry. I didn't mean." Savannah marched forward, arms crossed. "You don't touch this piano," she snapped. "It's worth more than your entire life. Go back to your mops, old man." The laughter stabbed deeper than any insult. Head bowed, Samuel nodded quietly, returning to his cart. Back to being unseen. Back to fading into the background. But Savannah, she stayed. Her friends joked, but she barely heard them. Because for a brief moment, just one, when he played, something inside her shifted. She didn't understand it, but she felt it. Fast forward to showcase night, the most prestigious event at Harmony Heights. An invitation-only performance for donors, faculty, and the elite. Velvet seats filled with expectant faces. The star of the night? As always, Savannah Whitmore. Backstage, in the shadows, Samuel wiped down an old stool. He had long since shaken off the morning's humiliation. He knew his role. He was there to clean, not to be seen. Then it happened. "Mr. Hayes, would you join me on stage?" He froze. Had he heard that right? Peeking past the curtain, he saw Savannah under the spotlight, mic in hand. "I heard Mr. Hayes play this morning," she said, her voice clear and firm. "It was real.
It was raw."
And I think you all deserve to hear it too."
Gasps.
Murmurs. The headmistress looked ready to faint. "Savannah, this is highly irregular." "I know," she cut in. "But music, it's not just about notes and technique. It's about soul. And his? You need to hear it." An uncomfortable silence fell. Some parents exchanged puzzled looks. A few chuckled, expecting a joke. But then, Samuel stepped out. Slow, cautious, almost unsure. His janitor uniform looked jarringly out of place under the gleam of the stage lights. He didn't say a word.
Didn't bow.
He just sat. And then he played. At first hesitant, like testing a forgotten language. But then the music found him again, and it grew. This wasn't a piece from memory, it was his piece. A living, breathing jazz improvisation, soaked in decades of pain, passion, and rebirth. The room was silent. Even Savannah's tech mogul father stopped scrolling on his phone. The headmistress sat down. The donors leaned forward. Samuel wasn't playing to impress. He was playing to be heard. And when he finished, he stood, quietly, ready to disappear. But then applause. Soft at first. Then louder. And louder. A standing ovation.
Cheers. Tears. Gasps.
Samuel turned, stunned. This? He never imagined. The headmistress, trembling, approached. "Mr. Hayes, that was beyond words. Why didn't you ever tell us?" He smiled, a little sad, a little proud. "Would you have listened if I did?" Savannah stepped closer. "I almost didn't," she admitted. "But I'm really glad I did." And the world? Oh, it listened. A student had recorded the moment. It hit the internet like wildfire. #JanitorJazz was trending in hours. Juilliard reposted the clip, praising it as the most heartfelt improvisation in years. The Conservatory offered Samuel a role as an adjunct jazz improvisation instructor.
Now?
Students gathered around him, hungry for wisdom. Even Savannah. Especially Savannah. She asked to learn from him. And, together, they composed a duet for the next showcase. Samuel didn't care for fame or fortune. All he ever wanted was for someone to truly listen.